Hey folks, hopefully if the technology is on our side, we're now live on YouTube talking to Randy and Mark Vale, who are organisers of Commsverse, Microsoft Teams Community Conference. And I'm kind of just checking in my other screen to see if anything's happening on YouTube. It's thinking, the joys of live, but we'll keep going. So guys, talk me through Commsverse. The big news to me is that, it's an in-person event, which is kind of exciting, right, given the last 18, 20 months we've had. So can you guys talk about Commsverse? How have you managed to cope, organise it in the kind of, how would you say, safety conscious environment?
So internet, well, was it 2 weeks yesterday? Would bring to an end basically 2 years of pain. So we originally planned to do this event last year, and me and Randy sort of set Commsverse up August 2019 with the view of doing an in-person conference in April last year, and then the world had other plans for us and everybody else. So we've been through a number of reschedules now because of coronavirus. And we were going to go June this year, but it was just a little bit too early with the restrictions being delayed and what have you, or the removal. So we shot for September as our final go at it, as it were. So we're a Microsoft Teams focused community conference. Both Randy and Martin, who are my co-organisers, and myself, we're independent. So Commsverse is like, call it a hobby, I guess, but it's a labour of pain, love.
Side job, yeah.
So we do this in our spare time and in between everything else. And we wanted to put on an in-person event that we would want to go to as techies. We were
that was really key, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So he'd go to like the bigger sort of Microsoft typey events and what have you, and they were just getting a little bit too sort of executive level, like sales focused and stuff like that. And it's not something that really kind of floats my boat and stuff like that. So I wanted to put on an event that I would want to go to, and hopefully people like-minded as myself, we want to go to as well. So we're a technology conference, it's 100% community. We rely on experts such as yourselves. I know, Peter, you spoke last year at a virtual event. We rely on other people's knowledge to come and help build that event. And, we look forward to welcoming anybody who's interested in Teams. It is a hybrid event because of COVID. We appreciate that there aren't everybody who wants to turn up to an in-person event right now. If they can't, whether it's their companies preventing them doing it, whether travel restrictions are just too difficult, too expensive, and what have you. So we have a hybrid event, and what that means is that you can choose to join the actual sessions in person if you've got a ticket, or you can join a Microsoft Teams meeting and get put straight in the room to the sessions that you want to watch live. You get to see the speaker, the content, you get to ask them questions, using your microphone rather than chat, so they'll hear both way or two-way audio. You'll hear the in-room audience, they'll hear you, see you, etc. So it should be quite a good event, and you can go and register for free for the virtual attendance. Obviously, it's in UK time zone, so because the sessions are live, if you're in Australia, you kind of have to get up in the middle of the morning, I guess, or the night to watch it. But we plan on recording it using Teams. We'll see how that goes. See if the technology gods are with us. If they are, then we hope to get all those sessions on YouTube and what have you within like a week of the event for everybody to watch on demand.
Nice one. Well, it'll be an interesting test to see if the Teams guys can get the Teams recordings to work.
Well, you can blame the internet, right? So
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that would be ironic. Though. A Teams conference recorded in Teams, transmitted in Teams, and the technology fails. That would be ironic.
And how hard has that preparation been for you guys? How hard has it been to have this hybrid approach? I can't imagine the logistics of having to do that. And more power to you. I really admire that you've done this for the attendees, giving them these options, but can't have been easy.
Well, we looked at like Teams live events and what have you, but they didn't give us the engagement that we wanted. We didn't want people just to watch from the outside of the window. Equally, to get a stream into a live event with RTMP and what have you requires a lot of compute hardware on site and what have you. And then connecting it to the in-room AV stuff and making sure that you can present to the screen behind you and also present to the stream that's going out and all that type of stuff. It was it would require more people power than we had available to us. So we reached out to our sponsors. Being a Teams conference, we obviously have certain benefits so that all the major vendors are our sponsors. So everybody who makes a Microsoft Teams room, we're there. So we've loaned a few Teams meeting room devices from Poly, Logi, Yealink, Crestron, and we're basically hooking those up to the room AV using basically an external sound card mixer, so we can get XLR to USB. So we got the audio sorted. And obviously, we've got the video from the MTR that can point back towards the stage. But most importantly, on the MTR for Windows, we can have the HDMI ingest from the presenting laptop, so that people sitting at home get an actual presentation, a high quality presentation, not trying to look at a PowerPoint on the screen. And then we have to deal with refresh rates of webcams and LED screens and lights and all that type of stuff. So it should be quite consistent. There's a lot of stuff that could go wrong. And we've tested the equipment out as best we can, but we'll see how it goes. It should work, fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. And my guess is, you guys, it must be a bit of a learning experience for you guys as far as you'll be able to take some of this stuff, and my guess is apply it to the day job, apply it to customers and things like that as well going forward, is my guess.
Yeah, we can tell them how it shouldn't be done, I guess.
Yeah.
But there are learnings. Randy's a bit of an MTR freak, so he'll learn more than I will.
Yeah, I've got 10 room systems in my little office here, so I'm helping Mark with some of the config and bits and pieces that because apart from a Logi Tap, I think that was the only one you'd actually played with before you got the Poly and started getting some of the Yealink stuff. You haven't touched any of the Crestron stuff yet, so yeah.
No, we don't get.
You spend your time in SBCs rather than room systems, yeah.
That's it.
Oh, awesome. So for those attending Commsverse, be it in person or virtually, what can people expect? I know you've got a lot of speakers from the community. What sort of tracks have you got? I know you've got speakers coming from Microsoft as well, potentially for some keynotes. Can you break down some of that for us, what it looks like?
Yeah, so the theme for the keynote is the hybrid workplace is hot topic for Microsoft right now, and for everybody else. You're having to balance going back to office-based working from home, and how do you join teams together more effectively? Teams as in people rather than teams as a software. But we'll be having Caruana Gatamu and Ilya Buchstein. So Caruana's like the head of Teams excellence group, and Ilya was it customer obsession, sorry, and Ilya is the head of devices. So for Teams, so he's the guy who decides what devices that get certified and what comes out and all that type of stuff in the direction of that. Yeah. So a real good tag team to sort of go with that hybrid workplace mantra. They were going to try and make it over here, but Microsoft HR won't let them. Oh. So in the spirit of hybrid workplace, we've got hybrid events, so they're going to be speaking virtually live. So we'll bring them in on a Teams meeting, and we'll basically mix the two meetings together, the attendee audience meeting, the presenter meeting, and put the in-person audience in the middle. And that'll work out well.
Yeah, awesome. Two great names, though. Two amazing people to have in your keynote. So not to be missed.
We've got other Microsoft people speaking as well. Michael Tressler. So if you follow Twitter, you might know him as Flinchbot. He tweets on Flinchbot account every now and then. He's big. I think he's a Premier Field Engineer, but he's big into the meetings and MTR stuff. He's done a lot of documentation that people have read on Microsoft Docs and what have you. We've got Tony Woodruff, who's program manager. I think he does like the live event type stuff as well. So he's going to be speaking in person. We've got a couple of, I think we've got another Marco Rock, another one from Microsoft. He's coming from Italy, I think, in person. So some are making it internationally, taking time off because HR won't cover it. So they take personal holiday and choose to come. So big thanks and kudos to those for going through that. We also have the main content tracks, and we split that up into 2 days, really. I mean, when we originally planned to do Commsverse, it was going to be 2 days of like the same kind of track. So we'd have a track that run both days. But with COVID and what have you, we kind of figured that maybe people would choose to come on one day rather than both days. Some might choose to come for both days. So we tried to theme the days to meet people's sort of day jobs type stuff, their skills. So day one's like collaboration day, so that's like front end of Teams, like meetings, document sharing, Teams, governance, compliance, all that type of stuff. Adoption as well, training. So if you're that side of the technology, that day's for you. And then we have the more back end type of config day, we called it, but it's basically back end deployment, design, voice, direct routing, all that type of stuff. Not Power Automate, sorry, tenant administration. So the more techie stuff. So if I had to split it out, it would be day one would be level 100 to 2 with a couple of 300 sessions. Day two would be more 300 and 400 level sessions.
And I guess, does that owe to the fact that, because you mentioned when you opened up here, you kind of said that you wanted to build a conference that you guys would want to go to because the other ones were becoming a bit too high level, I guess. So I guess, therefore, you're kind of structuring it around and saying, well, the high level guys, if you're interested in that, you come day one. If you're a techie focused guy, you come day two.
Correct. And if you want to spread the difference, come both days. We've got more stuff going on day one than we've got day two. Just because on the second day, people want to pack up and beat the rush hour home, right? So we can't run a full set on day two. So day two finishes sort of halfway through the afternoon. So there's lots of benefits for coming for the first day. So if you're a techie, I'd use the first day to go and see a handful of sessions that you want to just kind of like just widen your horizons a little bit and see what's happening on the other side. Or you can spend the rest of the day socializing, come to the event party and all that type of stuff, have a real good fun, and then day two you can go
exhibitors, that kind of thing.
That's it. Yeah.
Nice.
And day two you go straight into sessions.
I did see when I was looking up the kind of general info about the thing, you've got like other kind of activities and stuff like that. If you've had it up to, if you're getting a bit tired of the whole Teams thing, there was stuff like escape rooms and VR games and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of nice to see stuff like that happening, right? Because for the last year and a half, we've all been locked in our bedrooms and in our home offices, right? So it's just cool that kind of stuff, it can exist. Yeah,
well, the escape room started as we'll lock you all in a room together and turn the lights off and let you try and fight your way out. But obviously COVID and what have you, had to rethink a bit that now. So the escape room as such now is more of a tabletop escape game, still team building, but you're handcuffed together and you have to find. You basically have to solve the problems to get the key to unlock your handcuff. So it should be fun, but obviously it's a little bit sort of safer and a bit more.
Bit different. Just waiting for the man on a tricycle with the kind of funny mask. Hello. Just kind of wheel himself in.
That should be really good, actually, though, because Rue, not long ago, you and I participated in an online escape room, didn't we?
It was like it was like an online Cluedo thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like
something like that.
Mystery thing.
And it was pretty
very
cool.
well.
No. I never do very good at that. But they are fun. It's all about the taking part, isn't it? That's what the losers always say, anyway.
I mean, we've got a fantastic venue, so we've got to use it, and the exhibits there as well. So, but we want.
And where is the venue?
Mercedes-Benz World in Surrey.
Fantastic! Yeah, it looks amazing.
Outside. Good. So we've got they've got like remote control car racing there, which is like I think it's like a 20-to-1 scale model of a Mercedes GT.
Cool.
have 10 on the track and what have you. You sit there with your steering wheel and your pedals, and you go and race each other around. That's good fun. There's F1 simulators and what have you. So we've got those at the attendee social bits at the end of day one. Run some competitions. So PEXIP are supporting the remote control car races. So we're doing the PEXIP Infinity Cup because their product's called Infinity and it's figure 8 tracks. So it fits quite well. So people can win Xbox for the fastest lap round there. We've got the F1 simulators. And Zapapi are sponsoring that one. So what we'll do is we'll choose a random track. We might throw a curveball in there and make it in reverse. And the fastest person around that track will win 2 tickets to the Formula 1 Grand Prix in Silverstone next year.
Blimey, that's a good prize.
Awesome prize. Love it.
Well, we can't get tickets to Ignite because it's virtual, so I have to try and think of something.
You can have a free ticket to Ignite it, though, if you want to. Yeah,
baby prize.
Yeah, we can buy a free ticket for you, no problem.
With my discount code.
And for anyone attending in person, will there be any swag for people? People do love their swag from in-person events?
Yes, there will be. I'm not going to give too much away.
No, of course.
But we've got some swag to give away. I don't know what the sponsors are bringing. We've told them to bring stuff. Maybe not Bombay Mix or Pick and Mix, but something to give away.
Big bowl of peanuts. Yep.
Yeah, so there'll be stuff to win there. We've got some nice touches. I think it's not going to be your usual swag. Like I say, I want it to be a surprise for people who turn up. So I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, I'm getting serious FOMO now because before we came on air, I said I'm unable to come in person. I will be joining virtually. I've signed up for the virtual event, so but I've got serious fear of missing out, and I really wish I could be there, but maybe next time. But sounds amazing, and there are going to be some amazing speakers there. If you're sort of hovering over that, should I, shouldn't I? You really will have a marvelous time, whichever way you attend. There's some amazing speakers. I mean, people like Kev McDonald's going to be there in person, I think, isn't he? And Chris Horde, I think. Is Chris coming in person or?
Chris was, but he sadly had to cancel because him and his family have just contracted coronavirus, so he's not able to make it.
Nightmare! I didn't know that. Well, if you're listening, Chris, a speedy recovery, my friend. I hope you're feeling better soon. But yeah, there's some great tracks, some great sessions, and it was great the way that you got the attendees involved in choosing the sessions. I thought because you put it out to the vote, didn't you, about which sessions would be selected, which I thought was a really novel and unique approach.
Yeah, that was a great touch. I think last year we had to do all the voting ourselves, so we'd get little pings, and then between the three of us, and we'd have to kind of vote on which sessions we actually liked, and then we actually brought in a couple of extra outside kind of people to swing the vote either way. But it was a lot. There were I don't know how many submissions there were. Was it something like 800 submissions or something?
Wow!
It wasn't that much. I think it was about, wasn't it? I think it was about 189, 190 sessions, and they were all anonymous at the time as well. So we did like a blind one, and then Randy and Martin made the journey to Crewe. We spent pretty much all day in the Holiday Inn meeting room trying to sort out which ones we thought would, people would be interested in, and that worked quite well. We had to whittle it down to, I think it was 190 down to 45. So it was really, really brutal and tough. And we had a great agenda, we thought. We just didn't get to do it. But we merged that into the virtual event last year instead. And went a bit crazy there.
Yeah, and let's show a little bit of love for the rest of your team as well, because there are a couple more faces. You mentioned Martin, who can you tell us who else is on the team? You got Martin and you got Philippa, I believe, who are working on.
We got Philippa, yeah. She's a fresh out of sixth form, so she just passed her A levels. I think she got like 4 A stars and an A, so massive kudos to her.
Nice.
Yeah,
so she's into photography, product design, that sort of stuff. Quite creative, and this is a bit of a beast, and we realised that what we're going to have to really, really try very hard to convince people to come to an in-person event. in the midst of the pandemic, because let's be honest, it's still not over, is it? It's a little bit better with the vaccines, but it's still around and what have you.
Yep.
So we needed to convince people that it was safe enough, and we were taking the right steps, and it is okay to venture back out the front door. So we recruited Philippa on a fixed permanent contract. So she helps us with the social media promotion, takes some stuff off our plate, and she'll be there at the event, and taking photographs and doing some interviews with Tom Morgan. So she won't be interviewing Tom Morgan. Tom Morgan's going to be interviewer. And he will be going around the event, just grabbing people and having a few questions, and hopefully some of that will land on social as a bit of some added content as well.
As far as the kind of whole restrictions and health and safety measures and all that go, what have you guys had to do? Because I know that things are mostly back to normal, but obviously there's still some stuff, especially at events, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, if we went by the law, I mean, it's a free for all. You can get 80,000 people in the football stadium, so all like shoulder to shoulder singing and all that type of stuff. So, but we didn't want to be that type of an event. We understand that the demographic that we appeal to are still going to be sort of a little bit on the fence and like, well, I want to go, but I don't want to take the risk. So I don't. We never went with like we're going huge or what have you. We kept it small. We've kind of said, look, 400 attendees is the maximum we're going to take. When we add the speakers and the sponsors to it, it's about 600. That's about 45% capacity of the venue.
Right.
So we're not going to enforce masks. We're not going to enforce social distancing, but we're going to give you opportunities to decide that for yourself if you're there. So there's plenty of space to spread out. The session rooms are laid out in a 70-30 split. So 70% full capacity, 30% 1 meter distance. So you can choose where you want to sit in the rooms. And we've double-sided printed your badge. One's got like a green dot on the one side that says "I'm all right" with shaking hands and meeting people close. The other one's got a red one with a hand saying, "Please keep a meter apart from us." So we leave that to everybody to decide how they want to operate around the event, and we hope that people will just respect other people's decisions really around it.
Sure. Sounds good.
And then, by law, we don't have to mandate vaccines. We're not mandating vaccines to attend, but we are saying to everybody who does buy a ticket, that sponsors, doesn't matter, even ourselves, we take a lateral flow test before the event, make sure that we're negative. If you're positive, then don't turn up. We'll sort you out. If you've got a ticket, we'll do something for you. As a result of that, that's not a problem. But we're trying to make it as safe as possible without having to be too sort of regimented, because we've had enough of that for the last 18 months, being told what to do. I think we're all sensible enough to make our own minds up.
And as you guys as organisers, are you going to sort of take steps to isolate yourselves a couple of weeks beforehand just to make sure that you're all right, or what are you having to do there?
Yeah, well, we work from home anyway, so we've been isolating for the last 2 years, really.
Yeah, not so much of a problem.
Good point.
Yeah,
and I guess
it's 2 weeks now, isn't it? It's 13 days away. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not planning on going really anywhere. And even if I do, I still wear a mask. It's just kind of part of my protocol just now. It'd probably take me a little while to kind of relax that. But, yeah, the last thing I want is to let Mark down or let the whole team down and test positive the day before or a couple of days before.
Yeah, nobody wants that anyway, but that would suck. It really would. But what you're finding when you're going out and about, I was out and about today getting my car serviced, and on the whole, people are still being pretty considerate and sensible on the whole. So it's just finding your feet, isn't it? Finding your way back into the world, and we've got to do it. We've got to learn to live with this virus, and we're just doing our best, so we can do. But
as far as the sessions go, will you guys be too busy running around like headless chicken to attend any sessions, or will you guys be able to actually sit there and enjoy it as well? Because it's one thing I wondered, if you're organizing it, do you still get to reap the benefits that all the attendees get, or are you up to your neck in it?
I would say we'd be up to our necks in it. It would be nice to say that we've organized things well enough to be able to just sit back and relax a little bit. I know we do have some hired staff and some other kind of concessions there, but yeah, we are going to be busy. We've got roles, each of us have a specific role on the day, and we'll probably chop and change that and do shifts on certain things to give each other a break to go and have a comfort break or a sandwich or whatever from the amazing food that we're going to have. But by and large, I think we're going to be quite busy. I think we'll be able to let our guard down a little bit at the after event or after kind of day one party, won't we? Have some beers hopefully, and make sure everybody's kind of watered and fed well. Usher people into the right areas and stuff, and then I'm really looking forward to the pre-event as well. That's the last chance I think we've got to kind of really mingle and socialize, properly before we really get stuck into what's going to be a very long day, starting at 5:30, 6 o'clock the following morning, going through until midnight the next day, kind of thing. Before starting over and doing it again.
So nice to see people as well after all this time, and to meet people you never met before. I mean, Rue and I, for example, I haven't met in person, so there's going to be a lot of that. A lot of people catching up after so long and meeting for the first time. But
the last event I went to, I think, was Ignite the Tour in 2019.
Likewise, that was the last one for me too. Yeah. Ironically, I think I caught COVID there. I'm not sure. Because I was never diagnosed, because it was before it was all taking off. But I had all the symptoms, and I lost my sense of taste for a good month afterwards. So my wife thinks it was that, but no way of knowing. But
right. Okay.
But no, that was a good event though. I was like the events at the Excel. Cool place. But Rue, have we got any questions on the chat? Is anyone saying anything?
Not that I can see, so I'm just going to keep bombarding the guys with my own questions because I'm selfish that way.
It's the most of the time.
Yeah, thinking back more to your sessions and speakers and things like that, I guess, there's obviously a whole bunch of great sessions and valued speakers. Are there any that kind of stand out to you guys as ones that are of particular interest? Maybe it's folks talking about brand new stuff that's maybe not been discussed so much. Just anything that kind of jumps out to you as sessions that attendees might want to pay particular interest to?
For me, we had a new speaker program that we wanted to push this year, give people who've never spoke at a public event before the opportunity to, and we understand that was, it's a big decision for somebody to put themselves out there in front of people that might know just as much as the speaker, and that can be quite nerve-wracking for someone. So Sam O'Donnell session should be very good. He's our new speaker for this year. He took advantage of the program that we put in place for him. So we got him a professional public speaking coach to do some sessions with and build his confidence up, and he's ready and set. So, go to Sam's session because, it's his first one. In person, in front of a big audience. And we fully support that. I'm looking forward to that one. Other ones, I'm quite interested in a session by Lee Ford. So I challenged him to make a web chat bot that interface between website and Teams and how to build that. So that'd be quite interesting to do because I think that's quite fitting, especially with customer support and what have you. So if there was a session that I would want to go to, it would be that one. But we got plenty of sessions that appeal to different people. I can't really pick out any sort of it would be unfair for me to kind of
play favorites.
What do you think, Randy? What sessions stick out for you?
I can't. I mean, the Lee one does sound really interesting. Some of the dev ones, because I'm not, definitely not a dev. I have an app to my name, but I've forgotten how to be a dev since I wrote it many years ago. But yeah, some of those always interest me because it takes me out of my comfort zone. I go to a session because I'd like to be entertained to some extent, but I also want to learn something. I'm not going to go and watch something that one, I'm never going to use, and two, I already know, unless I know it's going to be entertaining and it's going to be, maybe it's somebody I know, maybe it's somebody I know personally well, and I just want to support them. Like Sam O'Donnell, as Mark said, that'd be a really good one to go to, just to support somebody new in the industry. That's kind of why we all do, I think, as MVPs and just IT pros, just do the stuff that we do and share, because we want to, big up the next generation of people. So supporting those kind of things are good. The keynote, I'm really looking forward to the keynote for the two amazing speakers that we have from Microsoft, but also for some of the other stuff that we have in store for it that we can't mention or say anything about. That's going to be epic, I think. There are a few of the vendor sessions as well. So some of the vendors that I don't know, their stuff well enough. I think there's a few vendor sessions that I'd like to actually see. Again, just to learn something I don't know, very well or at all, would be really good.
Nice, awesome, good stuff. And you teased there something in the keynote. I can't squeeze that out of you, can I? That surprise.
Well, there's no surprise. We're probably giving away the biggest prize in the keynote that we've got to offer, which is a Surface laptop. That's sponsored by one of our sponsors. So there is a bit of a caveat to that, because the prizes are only available to in-person people. So when we're doing those prize draws, the virtual attendees will be excused from that. We just can't support a draw sort of globally like that.
That's fair enough.
Absolutely. But yeah, we do have a few tricks up our sleeve, and it may come across in the virtual side, but I think you'd really have to be there to fully appreciate what we're planning.
Yeah. One thing you mentioned there briefly was your speaker program, which I know you've advertised quite heavily on your excellent website, which I love. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how people can benefit from it? And is it something you're going to continue offering after the event?
We had space for. We could have sponsored 5 people this year. I think we've got another new speaker from EY called Federica, but she didn't want to benefit from the program. She's quite happy and confident, and said, "I'll do it, no problem." But yeah, it was something that we plan to do next year as well, and hope to do every year. So, and it involves basically setting up, whether it's a fight, we first go to talk to them about the event and what to expect. And then we introduce them to our vocal coach, and she will have a conversation with them to decide what best program or topics to work with them on. And that can either be a block of 5 sessions 1-to-1, or it could be a block of 10, whatever the speaker thinks they need, or whatever they work out between them. And then they arrange that between their own availability. Jess is very good. But on the flip side of that as well, we'll pair them up with a more seasoned speaker who's done the rounds, so they can pick up hints and tips and how to construct PowerPoints and all that type of stuff. And also they have a back line to us as well, so we'll touch base with them every couple of weeks to see how they're getting on and make sure they feel comfortable and they're okay with it. And we'll sit with them, and they can present it to us and just practice as much as they want to until they think they're ready. And then on the day, they get the biggest room with the biggest seating, all the AV stuff. It's a full-on experience. They get the best experience we can offer them, and we hope that they benefit from it and move on to bigger and better conferences, and maybe come back to us one day.
Awesome. That is absolutely fantastic.
That's really cool. I love the coaching idea. It never even occurred to me that would be something that you guys would kind of organize and get folks involved in. That's really pretty cool.
Yeah, sometimes it's about getting the right, the speakers that we know will do well, but we want to nurture the next generation. So there's a lot of people, as Mark said, there's people in the audience that know more sometimes than the actual speaker, but they've never spoken in public. So it's great.
Yeah, it doesn't come naturally to everyone, does it? And I give myself a hard time about my own performance. I think I look back sometimes and think, oh, there's too many ers and ums, and get to the point, Peter, use one word instead of 6. And so there's a lot to be gained from something like this, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I know firsthand what it's like to stand up in front of people, and the nerves get the better of you. And I can stand up in the hotel room the night before and look in the mirror, and I can do the perfect speech.
Yeah.
Stand in the room in front of people, and it just goes completely out of the water. Your mind starts going everywhere and what have you.
Yeah.
So I know, that I could have done better, and it's one of the reasons why I don't speak publicly anymore. Just because it's not for me. I'd rather give people the opportunity who want to do it. That's where I get my enjoyment is creating this event and this experience for people. And if people leave on the 16th of September with smiles on their faces, I know that we've done a good job.
Absolutely.
It's more than just saying, we're open to new speakers. We want to try and encourage them through and give them the support that they want, because we know that the kind of the rock star type people who've been about the scene, they're coming towards the end of their working lives. They're probably going to roll off onto something else, and there's a big gap there to be filled. And we've got to look at the younger generation and get them through and give them the opportunities. So, we're all for that.
Nice one. And how long have you guys been in the kind of speaking / MVP / community world?
Me personally, I've been in the industry for 23 years, something like that. In terms of, putting myself out there, I think I started my first blog, linkiverse.com, would be probably close to 10 years ago now, on a Google Blogger, kind of free site kind of thing. I rebranded about 2 years ago to UC Status and moved to WordPress and did all that, and really doubled down and got the MVP thing. So I'm on my third award this year. Public speaking, I do a fair amount online. I don't really do a lot of in person, just because I guess there hasn't been that many opportunities to do a lot of in person. So there's that. But yeah, got the podcast, which is obviously, I guess, kind of public speaking to a degree, although recorded and then put online. YouTube videos. The more I do of those, reviews and just demonstrations of something, the more confident, the better I think I get myself. Maybe you'll all disagree, but that's fine. I've been doing it for a fair amount of time. And Mark was an MVP before I, kind of became one. So I think you first got awarded, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago now? Wasn't it?
Was it 25th?
Yeah, he's going to look at it.
Yeah, so 2015 was my first award. I had it for 2 years, I think, and then I lost it because I just stepped away for a year. New kids and let's get a new house and that type of stuff and what have you. And I got re-awarded last year, I think.
Cool.
Which is all cool, but I wasn't too upset to see MVP go, because I knew at the time that I hadn't done enough, and my mindset probably approached it a little bit in the wrong way, where I felt like I had to do something, and it took the fun out of it. So having that year or two break really helped me, and I decided that we do Commsverse just because we want to, and MVP is a byproduct of that, I guess.
Completely.
But I haven't been around as long as Randy, and I've been around like 10 years in terms of the online sphere. But I've got 12, 13 years of like work behind me in sort of Microsoft space. And now I'm just excited to get this little project away and get one under our belts finally. And
absolutely, yeah, because last year's turned out very different to how you originally conceived the idea at the genesis of it all. But last year's event was superb. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I moderated some sessions for you guys last year, and I really enjoyed being a part of it. You had some great speakers. I moderated a few sessions for Chris Horde, for Josh Blaylock, who's awesome. Love Josh, and amongst others. And you had the virtual experience as well, didn't you? It was a bit
VR,
the VR. That was quite.
So we went a bit crazy. We're like, well, do you know what? We've rescheduled the in-person event twice now. We've got all this content that people wanted to present. And if we didn't do something last July, we would have lost it, and people would have lost the opportunity. So it was like, let's do a virtual one. Let's just see how it goes. And we went a bit crazy, and we decided that we would do, what was it? Was it 300 sessions or something, Randy?
Yeah, it was a ridiculous amount. I mean, I think I moderated close to 30 sessions over the couple of days. Yeah.
So we started. I think we started at 9 o'clock. I think on the Monday morning UK time, and we had 5 sessions every hour on the hour, right into 11 o'clock at night on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So it was like 24/7, 72 hours, constant stream, all time zones. Let's go and do it, And it was crazy, absolutely crazy. Never do it again.
I can't believe how tired I was at the end of that. Yeah.
we all joined the last meeting, and we were just like, I can't talk.
I think my shift for the day was at like 8 to 1 a.m. 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. every day for those 3 days. And it was like, you get to 1 a.m., you're finished moderating your last session, and you check the help desk queue and make sure there's no, sort of real issues there, make sure that nobody's locked out or anything like that. And make sure, the next set of speakers and the next person's woken up to do their shift. And then by the time you've done that, it's kind of 2 a.m. and you just lay down, and hopefully your brain switches off, and then you're ready for your alarm again in 6 hours time or something. It was
very crazy.
Yeah.
But
I think it was worth it. I think it was definitely worth doing the event to keep the momentum and not lose the traction we'd made. We did so much leading up to that, and the fact that mostly you organized all of it and did all the stuff that you did in Teams and in Flow and Power Automate and all that kind of stuff. You probably learned so much that you could actually do 12 sessions yourself on all that. We had to do it. It had to be done. Weirdly, all the technology that you tried to invent back then now exists.
There you go. Ahead of the curve. But it was an amazing event. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'd not long been in the community myself at that point. I'd really just started my own community journey, and it was one of the first events, if not the first, that I attended, and I had a thoroughly great time. Everyone was just so warm and welcoming to me, and
you looked about 15 years younger at the time.
Yeah, I think I did. I've you're not wrong. I've just got a lot more grey hair than I used to. I decided to grow it out during the pandemic, and it's getting a bit mad.
It's wisdom. That's all it does. It makes you look wiser.
But no, utterly brilliant. And more importantly, though, that's done. That's in the books. What's to come? We're talking about this event. People listening to this, if they're thinking, "Oh, this sounds great," how do they attend? How should they go and sign up? Why should they go and sign up? What's the process?
Well, I think we've given lots of reasons why they should already. But just head over to Commsverse.com. Homepage, you got 2 options: register for free to join online, or purchase a ticket to come in person. And yes, we are a chargeable event, and unfortunately we can't give the premium experience that we hope to give for free, because it just costs way too much money. But we hope that the ticket price is affordable to many, and just buy a ticket. I think we've only got like 19 or 20 tickets left before we hit our numbers for this year, so it should be quite a well attended event, both virtually and in person. Obviously, there's no real limit on virtual tickets. I think we've got about 1,500 people signed up for virtually at the moment. So hopefully, if we get 50%, 40% of those turn out live, that'll be pretty good, and good for the speakers as well.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. If it works well, and the internet gods and the technology gods are with us, we may do it again next year.
Awesome stuff. Well, go and check out the website. Go if you're thinking about, just go and do it, either virtual or in person. There are some tickets left, so go and don't miss out, because this is going to be an absolutely fantastic event. And fair play to you guys.
This year, though.
No,
not the VR this year, but
we
but
have
in person,
the
VR
VR
stuff on. But
experience.
you're not going to see much.
Yeah.
But being in person, that's going to be so great if you're going to be one of those people who are going in person, and you can get together and have a share pint. It's been a while since everyone's been able to have a share pint. I wish there was a Teams analogy for that, but I don't think there is.
Well,
I think
we do have 25ml shot glasses labeled Team Spirit, and we're going to have a purple spirit in there. So
love it.
You've got your Team Spirit instead.
That's genius.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. So Team Spirit, brilliant.
And you drink
Absolutely
that before you go up and do your session, right? That's the
Absolutely.
idea.
Well, that's the antidote, isn't it? Don't we have?
Oh yeah. So we have bottles of Corona, and we have the shot. So you have a Corona shot.
Nice.
Love it.
That's good stuff. How do you guys because it sounds like a lot of work, and it kind of sounds like a lot of punishment. How do you find the motivation to keep going? What's the driver that makes you kind of suffer through it all and say, no, in the end, this is all worth it?
Contracts.
Legally binding contracts.
Nah, it's. I don't know. I think for me, it's something that I wanted to do, and it kind of birthed out of my mind. So therefore, I'm emotionally attached to it,
right.
And I feel that if it fails, I fail, or if I fail, it fails. I don't want it to fail, and it's a personal thing to me. It's almost like a third child. So from my perspective, I'll do what's necessary to make sure it's a good event for everybody. It's hard to explain. It's more of an emotional thing for me.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, it was just an honor to be invited into the party, really, to help out. I didn't anticipate the amount of work occasionally, but I don't do anywhere near as much as Mark does. Again, he's got all of this stuff in his head, and to be able to plug in a USB kind of cable and download all that so we can kind of help him would be I think good, and I think he'd probably appreciate that. But we do what we can. We do what he asks. I'm emotionally invested because I just think it's just like Mark. I like going to these kind of events. UC Expo, Future Decoded to some extent. I would always have loved to go to Ignite in person. Enterprise Connect, for instance. The MVP Summit. I'd love to be able to get to that one day if it ever goes back to in person. So I love these kind of in-person events because it's about connecting with people. And when you're in the industry as long as I have, you can't walk very far in these kind of events without bumping into 50 people, and it's really, really kind of fun. And after 18 months of sitting in as you said, sitting in your room or whatever, to get back to in person and actually see all these people, and the fact that they're all Teams enthusiasts of some description is a real kind of buzz for me as well. I hung my hat on this technology after hanging my hat on Skype and after hanging my hat on Link and Microsoft in general, and voice way back in the actually the before the millennium, to be honest. It's been a long road to a great journey, and it's an event that I'd want to go to. When he told me where it was, I just thought, wow, that just sounds like a fun place to go. Yeah. And then he said, oh, we're going to layer on food, which you never really get at events. You'd have to go and get a really expensive pizza or a sandwich or something in the food hall. We're actually layering all that on, all the sessions, prizes, which I can't win, of course, but all of that, it just sounded too good to be true. And I thought, why not? Yeah, I'll help you out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We wanted to create an experience, not just a conference. We've been to places that, the big, massive conferences that are media backed, and it's solely about pushing cattle through the door. And you get your own way there. You go through the door, you collect your badge, and then you fend for yourself. And you get 20,000 emails after you attend the event, and that's it. There wasn't any personality there. I wanted to try and create an event that was big enough to be viable, but small enough where we could treat people as friends, and everybody it'd be a friendly atmosphere. We'd all have good fun together. That's why we're Teams only, and we don't branch out, because if we went too wide, the numbers would go up, and we just couldn't do what we set out to achieve. You know, we 2,000-3,000 person event, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing. You know, but a 400 or 500 person event, real niche, we can give people a real good time. Like Randy said, you know, we've got food. You know, you've got breakfast, snacks, lunch, afternoon snacks, evening meal sort of stuff, all covered in your ticket. Tea, coffee, drinks, and all that type of stuff. There's money behind a bar to go and get some, you know, some beer at the end of the day and that sort of stuff. You know, we've got like lots of prizes to give away. I think, I don't know, if I put a number on it, it's about £4,000 or £5,000 worth of prizes to win throughout the event. Hot laps around the track, etc. Retro gaming consoles, which I'm really jealous about. I've got an original N64 Gold Edition with GoldenEye, still boxed. And
What?
That's a prize, and I'm like, I don't want to give that out because it's just my childhood.
Yeah.
You know, but
you should have kept it quiet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, someone's going to win stuff. But yeah, I wanted to create something fun, you know, and we hope people have a good time because, like I say, we put probably more money into this than we would have done if we went with the free model, the free ticket and stuff like that. So we hope people appreciate it.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What you've put into this is phenomenal. And the price on the ticket, what you're getting, what you've just gone through there is, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So,
I mean, it's £59 for a ticket. And if you want to see the food bill, it's £125 to feed you for both days. So you're getting a bargain.
Absolutely.
I'll just go for the food.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Any questions, Drew, on the chat? Anyone?
Let me jump into the chat. I don't think so. I think we're all clear for now.
Cool, because I don't seem to be logged into StreamYard for some reason, so I don't know if I'm seeing what's in there, which is foolish of me, but
the technology beating you.
It has. I had to
take back what I said about wisdom earlier. I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I had to log on in a different browser this evening because Chrome wouldn't start my camera, and I was too lazy to restart, and then I couldn't remember the login. So, but anyway, there you go.
The Teams Live event.
Navigator for the win, yeah.
Exactly.
You know, I actually installed Netscape Navigator for a customer demo just a few weeks ago, just to prove a point. That's a different story altogether.
Is there a current version, or
you can? There's a website called oldversions.net, oldversions.com or something like that. You can download the last version, which was something like 7 or 8 years ago. It's quite an experience trying to do anything on it. It just nothing loads, nothing works.
Does it mimic the speed of dial-up?
Like
pictures rendering one line at a time, you know.
Yeah. Like just kind of like a matrix printer. Yeah, absolutely. Oh well, but yeah, I guess you know, kind of conscious of time and stuff. Is you so you know, as far as kind of last minute, telling folks where to go, how to sign up, accommodation, the actual event itself. What is your kind of closing comments for anyone that's interested in it?
If you need an excuse to get out of the house away from your partner, go and do it. It's going to be a good 2 days away. But no, it's like I say, if you're into Microsoft Teams and it doesn't matter whether you're a power user from, even just a basic user or even a product manager who's looking to take the next level, we have something for everybody there. It'll be really friendly. We welcome everybody. If you want to come have a great time, head over to the website. Go and choose your poison, whether you're coming in person or online, and we'll see you there. So
awesome.
That's all we really got to say. Really, at the point now where it will be what it'll be, and we'll welcome everybody with open arms. You're
just ready for it. Well, awesome. I, for one, will be there virtually. Maybe next year I'll get there in person, but I'm looking forward to it. And get yourself signed up. More power to you guys, to you, Randy, to you, Mark, and also to Martin and Philip. I think you're doing an amazing job. I think it's going to be a massive success for all the passion and love that you've put into this. So I wish you nothing but good stuff for this event, and I'm sure it'll be phenomenal. So thank you for spending the time with us. It's massively appreciated. It's been great to hear about the story of Commsverse, and looking forward to it so much. So thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for having
Always
us.
appreciate the time. Thank you.
Great stuff. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for joining us all. Take care. Bye.